Thank you, Claire. Today we'll be joined by Jay Fajardo. He's the founder and CEO of ProudCloud, which creates and develops websites and applications. He was also the founder and CEO of the Philippines' largest Wi-Fi hotspot network, Airborne Access, which was sold to a telecommunications giant in 2008. Well, thank you so much for joining us this morning, Jay.
Thanks for having me.
You know, when I was reading about it, I realized I'm really far off now from this latest developments in the tech world. I mean, like you, for example, before you became a tech entrepreneur, I understand that you began as a coder. And then now coding has also like moved leaps and bounds. But what is coding, first of all?
Well, coding is really a new term for what used to be called programming or computer programming. And well, when I started back in the 80s, I was high school then, just for your information. You know, it was but you know, coding started way back in when computers were first invented. No? But when I started, it was really basic, Fortran, Pascal, COBOL, those were the languages that we were using.
But what's the value of coding? I mean, how does it contribute to advancing technology? And then I understand that you mentioned from Pascal, now it's like there are many other codes, do you call it codes? Languages.
Yeah, yes. Languages. Well, the value of coding is that's really the foundation of a lot of what you see around you nowadays.
The applications that we see, it starts with coding.
Even the you know, your mobile phones, even deeper than the app that you use, the operating system of a mobile phone is really code. Computers also, you know, the operating system is based on code. A lot of the gadgets, cameras, digital cameras, there's a lot of code in that you don't see.
Yes.
That's why it's very important.
Is that what we see on screen? I mean, for us who are not really techies, when you say coding, it's like the language that you see. If, for example, behind the apps that you use, if you go behind it, you will see all these letters and words and all those stuffs. And you were able to simplify it for me earlier before we went on air on how to describe that there are different types of languages. It's like the Romance languages when there's a Latin, Italian, and French. Then why was it important to have like different languages for computers? I mean, if we're just going to come up with more or less an application, why was there a need to have different languages, so to speak?
I guess languages were developed based on different purposes that people saw the need for, right? For example, when computers were first developed, there was this thing called the machine language, because that was the only way that a computer could read programs or interpret the programs. Yes. No? And then just to make it simple for developers or for programmers, they made it more higher level, where you put now natural language like print, go to, return,
turn left, go right.
Yeah. And then when they started focusing on purpose, like scientific, mathematics, business, they started developing languages that had commands that were specific to those disciplines.
Excuse me. So hence the different languages.
Yes.
Depending on, let's say, the user. So now, with the use of coding, I understand that apart from coming up with these applications, you're actually coding real objects. Tell me more about that.
You're probably pertaining to what they call nowadays as the maker movement.
The maker movement.
Yes. Okay, so real objects are actually made or built.
What do you mean by that? Real objects are actually built?
Well, you know, although it also covers the coding, you know, the maker movement, there are people that actually build prototypes, all the way from robotics to furniture to machines. So so it's really
So like you're using the computer now to make furniture. Like there's a piece of wood and
Yes.
then you're giving instructions, telling it to come up with a design of some
Yes.
sorts.
So not
Okay.
just the computer, but it does use technology. For example, CNC equipment,
What's that?
computer, numeric controlled machines. No? So
Okay.
for example, if you're talking about a laser cutter, you can actually program the laser cutter to cut precise shapes, diba? Based
All right.
on specifications. So those are the tools that are used nowadays: laser cutters, plasma cutters, water cutters,
Wow.
to cut metal, wood, and the end result would be the ability to build different types of things, prototypes, for example, like make your own tools. So you have tools to build other
Yes.
tools.
Yes.
So I guess the philosophy behind that is really enabling people to be confident that
You can create things.
see a problem, and build around that problem rather than wait for somebody else to build it for them.
Yes.
Okay. A lot of the terms do it yourself is being thrown around. Do it with others. That's a new term, no? DIWO. And the foundation for this is a community that helps each other. So you share your skills,
Yes.
you share your tools, you share your ideas,
With
and your
this group.
learnings
Yes.
with the rest of the
Now,
people.
are we able to do that here in the Philippines? Now, where are we in the world of technology?
As far as the maker movement is concerned, I think we're not very active in it yet. There are pockets of different disciplines. Maybe you have craft people somewhere here, then you've got the furniture designers here, and
Okay.
robotics people in the academic world and all that. No? But a maker space, which exists elsewhere, isn't very popular here yet.
Why is it so?
Well, it takes volunteerism also. Some people need to invest in a space, the tools. People will bring in their own tools. Like I have a router or a cutter at home. Maybe I'll bring it to the space for other people to use. That hasn't picked up yet or caught on yet.
But you're spearheading this particular, your advocacy is actually to help people come together, the entrepreneurs and the techies, to come together to join forces and create a new product or a new service.
Right.
And you started with, was this, what's the first one?
Roof Camp.
It was Roof
Yeah.
Camp, right? And what was Roof Camp and what is Roof Camp?
In our own small effort to try to make that collaborative thing work, at least in the coding space, no?
Yes.
We started this thing called Roof Camp. You could call it an icebreaker of sorts.
Yes.
Because like I mentioned before,
It's like speed dating, right?
yes. Well, Filipinos are naturally shy
Yes.
and very we're introverts. Okay,
So
by
you
nature.
get them together and you give them like a glass of beer
Yeah,
just to break
you know,
the ice.
Yeah, have drinks, and then after a while they start talking to each other and sharing ideas, and then you just keep on repeating that over and over. Of course, there's a legitimate reason to come together, like maybe a talk. Somebody
Yes.
will give a talk.
So this is where the techies and the entrepreneurs meet. And then I understand with this one, sir, you actually came up with the weekend, the Roof Camp.
Startup weekend.
Startup
Yeah.
weekend, I mean.
Yeah. After Roof Camp, after the community was more or less brought together, now the need or the idea of a hackathon to build a startup started becoming popular abroad, and it was brought from the States to Manila, Startup Weekend Manila. And this is a 54-hour event. It's actually a weekend where you get to meet people. Maybe you have an idea, then you meet developers or designers, and then you come together, hopefully to come out with a project or a startup at the end of the weekend.
Yes.
It's really for the experience of entrepreneurship it's a crash course in entrepreneurship, and then just to get people interested in the whole idea. Maybe your project will get carried forward.
Or at least you will be able to come up with a group already or a team to come up with
something
new
else.
projects.
Like I like working with these people.
Yes.
Maybe we can do something else.
Yes.
Yeah.
And you have now actually you're on mission 3 for your launch
garage.
garage.
Yes.
Now I guess this is one especially for the techies who don't know yet where to get their budget or how they could go about it. This launch garage actually gives them the ability. I understand you're already done with the application period for Mission 3, and then now it's their time for pitching it or for the interview phase now.
That's right. Launch Garage actually came out of Startup Weekend also, because when you started seeing all these startups,
yes,
like, emerging,
the entrepreneur meeting the techie with an
or
idea.
ideas and projects, then the need for funding arose, and that's what we tried to do to address that. Seed funding, not big funding, just to get something off the ground. Prototypes, and mentorship as well. So
you'll know where to go, what
people,
to do, what's needed.
So that's why we built Launch Garage. And then now that we're in Mission 3, we're done with the application process, or at the end of the month we'll be done. We'll start interviewing all these startups who we can choose to put into the program. And then
Is it still open for those who may want to join Mission 3?
We're about to close the application on the end of March.
End of March.
And
this is open to
people with startup ideas, startup projects that need that extra boost to get it to the next level.
Okay.
All they have to do is visit the website launchgarage.com, and then they can go to the application, and then we'll see them.
And if you'd like to know also about the other projects of Jay here, you can also check in your website as well, ProudCloud, right?
That's right.
www.proudcloud.net. All right.
Yes.
Well, thank you, Jay, for enlightening us, those who have yet to know more about the tech world. Thank you so much for joining us.
You're welcome.
For those who would love to meet up with like-minded individuals in this exciting, actually it's fast-paced, and all these changes are happening. Like every week we see something new. So I guess this is a start for them on how they could have a collaborative effort with fellows.
Right.
Well, thank you so much, Jay
You're welcome.
Pardo, for
Thank you.
joining us this morning.